In this video, I'm going to finally finish my garage. It's been unfinished the entire time I've lived in this house. To start, I am putting OSB on the walls instead of drywall. This was cheaper and it allows me to screw in fasteners and hangers and things like that anywhere I want without needing to find a stud or putting in drywall anchors. To hold the sheets of OSB level with the ceiling, I put some screws in the studs on the bottom at the right height so I could rest the OSB on them and then just hold it up against the wall while I put some screws in. The walls were slightly taller than 8 feet, and so I had to cut a small strip to put on the bottom of the OSB panels. I painted the garage white to try and brighten it up. It felt a lot like a dungeon in there, and I figured the white paint would really liven it up. I made sure to mask off everything, the outlets, the fuse box, the little deck landing that I made in my previous video. This took a lot more paint than I was expecting. I ended up using 10 gallons. The OSB just soaked up the paint. I don't know that I could put enough on there to hide the markings on the OSB, but for a garage and the fact that it's OSB and not drywall, I figured this would be okay. If you haven't seen the video of my little deck landing, I will leave a link at the end of the video. Make sure and go check that out. Next, I made some tool hangers. I had a bunch of red oak scrap that I chopped up into little squares, and then I used a spray bottle and I traced that out onto the wood and cut it out to create a hanger. I then screwed those two pieces together and that became the hanger that I put up on the wall. It fit the majority of all the tools that I had. In some cases, I had to turn the hanger 90 degrees so that the tool would hang properly. I was trying to figure out how to fit more stuff in the garage while trying to maximize the space. The bikes were always kind of a problem for us. There was never a really great place to store them. Previously, I had them outside underneath our deck, which was not very good. We hardly ever got to them. So I figured I would make these swinging bike racks. There's a lot of versions of these on YouTube. I suggest going out and looking for some. I made these out of 2x2s and some bolts. I first cut down the 2x2s to hold the front wheel of the bike. Now this is dependent on how big of a wheel you have on your bike. It's got to be big enough to support the bike, but it can't be so big that the wheel goes all the way through. A good way to do this is to measure the wheel and then subtract a couple inches, and then the wheel won't fall all the way through, but it will be big enough to support the bike. I tried to make a hinge type system that would let the bike rack swivel from side to side. I didn't want to purchase anything. There's some really good lag bolts and systems that you can purchase that do this a lot better than what I did, but I was using scrap, and so I ended up just buying I think it's a 3-inch bolt that was used as kind of the pivot point. I built some shelves, some stand-alone shelves that went along the wall that my fireplace is on. I made them as deep as my fireplace and then all the way up to the ceiling. I already had some bins that was storing Christmas decorations and Halloween decorations and camping and all kinds of other stuff. And I wanted to make the shelves be able to fit these bins and have the most amount of shelves as possible. And so instead of building the shelves with the long part of the 2x4 going vertically, I turned them 90 degrees so that the long part of the 2x4 was going horizontally. I then used pocket holes to add the support pieces as well as adding the side pieces. This actually saved quite a bit of space when you combined that 2.5 inches over the course of 4 shelves. I was able to fit another shelf based off the amount of inches I was able to save by turning the 2x4 90 degrees. big fan of repurposing things that would end up in the dump. My brother-in-law was replacing all the closet doors in his house. He asked me if I wanted them. I thought those might be good shelves. I was lucky that the width of the door was the exact width that I needed. In some cases, I had to cut them a little bit shorter. The previous storage system that I had in this garage was out of this right angle metal. I took those metal pieces and cut them up and made shelf brackets, and then just used the doors as the actual shelving, and that worked out perfect. It's not pretty at all, but again, it's a garage and it worked out great. I was able to drastically increase the amount of storage and usable space in this garage. This has been needed for 10 years. I'm glad that I finally got to it. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.